everyone. Today I'll be doing the Fall Time Cozy Time book tag. Now this tag was originally created by Novels and Nonsense, and so I'll make sure to leave a link to her original video in the description box down below. Now I wasn't officially tagged by anyone, but fall is my favorite season and I feel that it's sort of coming to an end where I live. The leaves are pretty much all off the trees and snow has actually been on the weather forecast quite a few times, but luckily no sign of snow yet. So let's do this before fall is over. Now the first category is Crunching Leaves. The world is full of color. Choose a book that has reds, oranges, and yellows on the cover. So for this, I chose The Passage by Justin Cronin. As you can see, this cover has all of the required colors, plus it also has branches and leaves, so bonus points, right? Now, this book takes place in an apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic world. The government was doing these experiments on inmates, on people that the world wouldn't really miss if they disappeared. And as you can guess, the experiments go wrong. The test subjects turn into these weird bat-like, vampire-like creatures. And of course, they manage to escape and then they try and kill off the surviving humans or turn them into bat-like creatures like them. There was also this other subject that was tested on, a young girl named Amy. Now, Amy doesn't turn into this weird bat creature, but she is no longer fully human. So she tries to help these surviving humans fight off these bat creatures and get rid of them. So yeah, I thought this book was okay, not quite what I was expecting from the synopsis on the back. And it is planned to be a trilogy with so far only the first 2 books being released, The Passage and The 12. The next category is Cozy Sweater. It's finally cold enough to don warm, cozy clothing. What book gives you the warm fuzzies? Now for this, any one of my favorite books or any book that has a good love story will give me, the warm feels. And so I decided to choose maybe a less known book, and this is one of my favorites from high school. It's called Jeanne, fille de J.R.R. by Suzanne Martel, and the English translation is titled The King's Daughter. And so this story takes place during the Age of Exploration, where the French are discovering the New World, are discovering New France, which we now know today as the province of Quebec in Canada. And so the French want to try and colonize New France, and at the present it's mostly inhabited by men. And so the crown, or the king, decided to come up with this program called The King's Daughters, or Les Filles du Roi, where the king would provide a dowry for any female, any woman who was willing to travel to the New World and live there. And so most of these women who volunteered for this project were usually orphans or women of low social standing who had little wealth. So cue in our main character, Jeanne, an orphan who longs for adventures, and so we follow her story as she makes her way to the New World and all the obstacles that she has to face. And so this book has some really great characters, the story is very interesting, there's lots of action, I guess you could say, and I don't know, every time I read this, it just puts a smile on my face. It gives me the feels. So the next category is Fall Storm. The wind is howling and the rain is pounding. Choose your favorite book or genre that you like to read on a stormy day. So for this, I don't really have a particular favorite that I like to read on stormy days. I usually just read whatever I feel like reading, regardless of weather or time, and so I don't really have an answer for this question. But if it were stormy at the moment, I would probably just pick up and continue the book I'm currently reading, which in this case happens to be The Rosie Project by Graeme. And so this follows a geneticist who is a little socially awkward and decides to come up with the Wife Project to sort of find a suitable partner for him. And so he creates this questionnaire and puts it on dating sites in order to eliminate unsuitable candidates. And then one day this girl named Rosie walks into his office. He thinks she's there for the Wife Project, but actually she wants his help to try and find who her biological father is. And so despite Rosie being the complete opposite of anything that he's looking in a lifetime partner, he finds himself wanting to help her and things sort of progress from there. And so I'm a little more than halfway through this book and I just have to say that I absolutely love it. It's awesome. So yeah, I think this video might turn out to be a little long if I describe all these books. Anyhow, it is what it is. Let's move on. And so the next category is Cool, Crisp Air. What's the coolest character you'd like to trade places with? Again, another hard question. I had to think long and hard about this one, but I figured if I'm gonna trade places with someone, it might as well be someone from a different world. And so I chose Arwen from the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. I just think Middle-earth is a pretty cool place to be. There are a whole variety of different characters. Sure, things kind of suck with the whole orcs and Sauron ordeal, but once that's all over, I think it'd be a pretty cool place to live. And you also have Aragorn, and who wouldn't want to be an elf? Seriously. So yeah, I also have these pretty cool editions that are really old that I borrowed from my father, but that now live permanently on my bookshelf. So yeah. Next is Hot Apple Cider. What's an underhyped book that you would like to see become the next biggest, hottest thing? So for this, I chose more an author rather than just a book because, quite honestly, I like all of her books, and I haven't heard about her too much on the booktube sphere. And so the author that I chose is Kate Morton, and her books are The House at Riverton, The Forgotten Garden, The Distant Hours, and The Secret Keeper. Now, all of her books have really interesting storylines, and there's usually a plot twist involved, and the way she tells her stories is very interesting. Her style of writing is a pleasure to read. The chapters will alternate between the points of views of two characters, one in the present and one in the past. So it makes for an interesting reading experience, and I also think the covers to her books are quite lovely. And so if you're not familiar with Kate Morton, I definitely recommend you pick up one of her books. I will say that my least favorite was The House at Riverton, so maybe not start with this one, but all in all her books are really good. Next we have Coat, Scarves, and Mittens. The weather has turned cold and it's time to cover up. What's the most embarrassing book cover you own that you like to keep hidden in public? Now, I don't really have any covers that I'm embarrassed about, plus one of the cool things is if you do have the book in hardcover, you can always just slip off the dust jacket and save yourself some embarrassment. But I did choose a series where the titles I find are a little bit, special, a little embarrassing, and obviously they are featured on the cover. And so for this, I would say any book from the Confessions of George and Nicolson series by Louise Rennison. We have the first book, Angus, Thongs, and Full-Frontal Snogging. There's On the Brightside, I'm Now the Girlfriend of a Sex God. Knocked Out by My Nunga-Nungas, if you know what that means. It's a little embarrassing. Dancing in My Nudie Pants, and also Then He Ate My Boy Entrancers. And so if I saw someone reading this on the bus, I would probably sort of look twice and wonder what these books were about. But yeah, when I was younger, I definitely did not read any of these in public, and I wouldn't today either. So that's it for that one. Next we have, what's your favorite fall time comfort food or foods? And so I chose beverage. I really like masala chai, or just better known chai tea. I think that the extra spice and flavor really helps to warm you up more. So that's my answer for that. And the last category is warm, cozy bonfire. Spread the cozy warmth. Who do you tag? I don't have anyone to tag in particular, but if you haven't done this tag yet and you think you might want to, well, consider yourselves officially tagged. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, thank you to Novels and Nonsense for creating this fun tag. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day. I'll see you next time.